In this video we will learn about templates and how to create them in Datalynx Data Explorer. Templates are the fundamental building blocks of Data Explorer. Templates facilitate visual navigation of the associated database. Templates enable the association of profiling functions to tables or columns. Templates facilitate schema comparison across database instances over time. For this learning path we will be using the following. Microsoft SQL Server. A valid installation of Data Explorer. AdventureWorks Database, which is a sample database provided by Microsoft that is used for training and demonstration purposes. Let's start by logging into Data Explorer. If this is a new installation and no templates are yet created, the Register Template window will pop up immediately. We will go through the options we see on this screen first, then we will proceed with creating our first template. Date created indicates the date the database registration template was created. Created by indicates the username of the user that created the template. Last edit date will show us when was this template last edited. And last edited by will show us which user edited the template last. Auto profile will allow us to apply auto profiling functions on the registered tables. This will be a topic for another video. Name. This will be the name of the template we will create. It's better to make it a meaningful name. Something like AdventureWorks Production Database for data quality reporting, or AdventureWorks Production Database for reconciliation purposes. Naming like this will give us a better understanding of each template and what is it used for. Next we have the security level and security caveat. Before we go into these options, we need to understand that although Data Explorer can be used by individuals, it's best suited for companies and enterprises. Data Explorer is a tool that shines when used by teams. In the DMS we can create users that will operate on Data Explorer and we can assign security levels and security caveats for each user. If we create a template with a security level of high, then only the users matching this security level can access this template. Source type. We can choose one of the many options that Data Explorer can connect to. We will go into more details later in this video. Username. The username that Data Explorer will use to log into the database server. Password. The valid password for the username Data Explorer will use to log into the database server. Database. Name of the database on the database server. Next, we have the database configuration section. DB connection timeout specifies the number of seconds a database connection should wait for a response from the database before timing out. DB command timeout specifies the number of seconds before a command to the database times out if the database is busy or does not respond. SQL query timeout specifies the number of seconds a SQL query waits for a response from the database before timing out. Maximum records, the number of records displayed by the tables or any select query. Cache size, the size of the cache in bytes. Cursor location specifies whether data operations are performed on the client or server system. Isolation level specifies how a transaction interacts with other transactions being processed simultaneously against the same tables. Options are: read committed, changes to data by other transactions can only be seen by your process once they have been committed to the database. Serializable, changes to data by other transactions while your process is running are not visible to your process. Repeatable read, changes to data by other transactions while your process is running are not visible to your process unless the date is requeried to retrieve an updated set of records. Note that support for these isolation levels is dependent on the driver being used and therefore may not be available for all databases. The cursor type defines the type of cursor the provider should use when opening the record set. There are 4 options for the cursor type parameter. KeySet generates a static result set of key values. As records are scrolled, the current data for that record is retrieved from the database. New records, that were not returned in the original result set, cannot be seen until the query is rerun. Dynamic generates a dynamic result set. All changes made to the source data are visible. Open forward only allows only forward movement through the query result record set. Static generates a static result set. The cursor can scroll backwards and forwards through the result set. Changes made to the database by other users will not be visible until the query is rerun. The DB lock type selected determines what type of locks should be placed on records during editing. Options are: optimistic, only locks the record when it is being physically updated. Pessimistic, locks each record while it is being edited. Read-only locking allows multiple users to read data simultaneously, but prevents any write operations. Next is Table and Column Names section. This option, if checked, will add qualifiers to tables and column names. No change, table and column names as is from the database. Uppercase, table and column names registered in uppercase in Data Explorer. Lowercase, table and column names registered in lowercase in Data Explorer. Title case, table and column names registered in title case in Data Explorer. Register database only. This will register the database without the tables. We will explore it later on in this video. Now, let's start creating our first template. As we explained earlier, the name should be meaningful. For this template, we will go with the following. AdventureWorks 2019, so that we know which database this template is connected to. DMS, Data Management Suite. Training, so we know this template is created for training purposes. We will keep the security level as is and jump straight to the source type. In here, we can see many options. Oracle, SQL Server, delimited and many more. This is one of the most powerful features of Data Explorer. It can read data from almost any data storage system out there. If we pick Oracle, we need to provide the username, password, and database. For SQL Server, we need to provide the server name in addition to the username and password. Then we can pick which database to connect to from the list below. OLEDB. OLEDB is a set of interfaces used for accessing different data sources, such as databases and spreadsheets, in a uniform way. It's commonly used in Windows applications for data access and manipulation. In the right-hand side, you can see many options. These are the options that Xplorer is pre-built with. If you click on Excel, the connection string to connect to XLSX files will be generated. The same for SAP HANA, or any other option. A connection string is a string used to specify how to connect to a database or data source, including details like server name, database name, and authentication information. But please be aware that these strings need to be edited to suit your data source. You can click on Other to create a custom connection to a new system. This will be explained later on as this is an advanced topic. We can even use a custom connection string, a string that connects to a database on Azure Cloud, or any system that supports the functionalities of connection strings. With enough understanding, the possibilities are limitless. Let's check another data source. Delimited is a really powerful feature that will give us the ability to connect to any kind of delimited file and interact with it using SQL. We need to specify the location of the file and if it has headers or not. These are some of the most used options in data source. Let's create our first template using SQL Server. We need to provide the server name, username, and password. You can copy the SQL Server login that was created in the previous lesson. Then we can select our database from the list below. Let's go with AdventureWorks 2019. Test our connection. If the connection was successful, then click OK to create the template. It will take few seconds to register all the existing tables. Once the template is created, On the left-hand side you can see all the tables in the AdventureWorks database. We can add profiling functions, view table data and many more. You will learn about them in the later videos. But for now, let's disconnect from this template and click on New to create another one. In this template we will use the same information we used in the last one. We want to connect to the same database. But this time we will check the Register Database Only option. This option will register the database only without the tables. Let's imagine we are working with a huge database that contains 3,000 tables. And we are tasked in applying profiling functions on only 3 tables. It's way more efficient to register the database only, than manually register these 3 tables, instead of registering all the tables. Let's test our connection and create the template. The first thing you'll notice is that this template was created way faster than the previous one, and there is no tables registered on the left-hand side. Let's run another instance of Data Explorer and connect to the first template and compare. But make sure not to enter a wrong password as I did. As you can see we have 2 templates in our system. And it's clear from the naming, what's the difference between these 2 templates. Let's connect to the first template we created. As you can see, in this template, all the tables are registered. But in the other one, we will not see any tables. What does this mean? Does it mean that we don't have access to all these tables? Let's go back to the first template and create a query by holding down the Control key while clicking simultaneously. Run the query. It works. Let's copy the same exact query and run it in the second template. We will get the same result. We do have access, and we can run queries against all tables in the database. It only means that we don't need the whole database and tables registered in this particular template. Maybe this template is only created to run profiling functions on a few tables. Or for generating some reports. Let's register this table manually. Copy the table name. Right-click on Tables. Then register single table. Paste your table name and click OK. The table will be registered. We can view, edit, analyze, and profile the registered table. Likewise, you can register multiple tables at a time. Create a text file with the list of table you wish to register. Save the text file to the desired location. Go back to the Data Explorer, and right-click on the tables. Click on Register Multiple Tables. You can select uppercase, lowercase, or title case for the table and column names. Furthermore, we can add qualifiers. In this video, we enable no change, because we try to match it to the original database. Now, select the text file which has a list of tables. The result of the registration will be displayed. We can see that the tables have been registered successfully. This concludes the SQL Server database registration. Another significant source type is the delimited files. In particular, the extracted files or output files require proper analysis and profiling. There's no better tool than Xplorer for such robust and automated analysis. Hence, learn more about delimited files registration in the lesson 5. Thank you for watching.